Hello, this is the Whatever It Takes podcast, and this is Cassie B. It's been a while since I've been able to do this podcast. I've been very busy, and I've just been trying to figure some stuff out before the new year. I have a big exam coming up, and I've been really studying for that. But before I did that, I studied for 2 weeks kind of straight, and then I did a pre-test to see where I was, and I saw that I was far enough along where I felt like I could apply for the test. And because of that, I have. And I couldn't really, because of everything that's happening in the world and stuff, I couldn't really get a test date very quickly. So there was quite a few weeks, and I know it's not good to overwhelm yourself or do too much or, not take the time you need. So for one of those weeks before the test, I had like a month, I think, before the test, and I knew I couldn't just, study straight through or nothing. I wanted to be healthy. I wanted to take good care of myself. So in that time, I just spent that time getting things I needed to get done. Yeah, so just cleaning, and I moved. So just sorting through that stuff. And yeah, working on Christmas crafts. That's something I really enjoy, and I want to do more, and maybe do more on this channel, the crafts that I do, and things like that. It's the first time in my life I'm really able to properly experience the things I like to do. For a long time, I couldn't get anything done. Nothing felt very good when I did it, because I put so much pressure on, these little things, because I was in a very hard situation. And sometimes when we are in a hard situation, we'll do that. We'll act like this is the one thing that's gonna get me out of that situation, but it's not. So I can really calm down and do the things I want to do now, and that's so great. It's so relaxing and good, and it feels like my world has expanded a lot. Yeah, I think where I feel like I'm going with this podcast is I think it's gonna turn out more like a weekly diary instead of like, I don't know what I was thinking beforehand, like, because it kind of felt weird. I didn't really know what to do with it. But when you look at it more as like a diary, it makes a lot more sense. So I think weekly I will upload these diary entries with what I've been doing and how I've been doing and how I feel like I'm growing maybe, and how maybe some hard things I've gone through. I just feel really comfortable with that. So, if you want to continue to listen to these podcasts of, my diary entries, feel free. I'm very happy with them, and I think this is gonna go well. I think we have a little more direction than we used to. I still like what I did before, I think it's good to not say things you don't mean, so I try to be open and honest. They'll probably, in everyone's life, there's a point where they do things they don't really mean and say things they don't really mean, and, if that happens, I'll have to just continue on, forgive myself, but being open. I try not to say things that aren't how I want to be viewed in the world. So that's what I'm working on now, just making it a diary entry, and maybe posting it somewhere people can see if they feel like that this has some worth to them in a way. Because it's important to me, even if, no one sees it. In the future, I can look back and I can think, this is something I did. Yes, I feel like I have grown so much over this year. I feel like every week things are getting better, and it's kind of like climbing a mountain. It feels like I continue to scale the mountain. Before in my life, it would feel a lot like, all the hard work. It never felt fulfilling, maybe. It never felt like it was getting me anywhere. I was stuck in this place where I was unable to do the things I'm doing now. So, I'm just trying to, have a good life, have a simple life, continue to grow that, not worry, do things that make life easier, like learning to cope and learning to, instead of running away from how you feel, embrace it. And it's good to do things that help you. Something that really helps me a lot is doing yoga. I do yoga not every day, but when I feel stress, I get really bad back pain from stress, and it will just continue to build up, whereas I can't do very much. But I've learned that yoga really helps me to release that stress. For the next few weeks, I probably won't be uploading on my YouTube account because I have a very big test coming up, a very big exam. And I'll be studying for that for 2 weeks. So it will be around Christmas. Hopefully, I'll have time around December, some way through December. And I'll be able to post a new podcast then. And I want to make some sort of video before the new year. I don't know if that'll happen, but I really want to, just experiment with what I can do experiment with what I can do and see if it's enjoyable. I don't, there's not much good comes out of doing, pushing yourself, and there's a lot of good comes out of discomfort, but I don't think a lot of good comes out of doing something that doesn't have a gain involved with it that you don't have to do. Like, I think I'm explaining this wrong. Not wrong, but oddly. It's like, if you do something that's just for yourself, you never know if there's gonna be any profit from it. And you do it just for yourself, but you don't enjoy it because you it's not something you actually enjoy. It's hard, and you don't, in the moment, it's kind of something that you have to force yourself to do. I think there has to be a balance between, I want to do this, and it's kind of something I force myself to do. Because I think if you truly don't like to do it, and you're only doing something to try to, I don't know, make a gain in somehow, then you're not really learning very much from it. You're not really gonna be happy with it overall. Sometimes that's the point where you should rethink things and maybe think about taking up a new path, something you actually enjoy. I think it's really important to, success feeds from enjoyment, or that's how, if you're doing what you love and you're able to make that into a career, then that's like, I guess it's like the ultimate, that's what everyone wants to do. They want to do something that makes them fulfilled or happy, and they want to find fulfillment from their job. So sometimes if you have a bad job, it's hard to find fulfillment from that. It's just a job. It either has to kind of be, a job either has to kind of be in the sense you're gaining something from it. Maybe you don't enjoy the job, but you're gaining an amount of money where the hard work doesn't seem unreasonable. But maybe you have a job where you're getting less money, but the work is something you really enjoy. There has to be something like that. And I've talked about this for quite a while, things like this. But I guess I'm saying that you're not gonna find happiness from something that makes you unhappy. It's so good to have a work ethic where you're learning things that are hard, and it's not always easy, fun, or enjoyable to learn these things. But at the end of the day, it makes you a better person. But if you're just throwing yourself into something that's unbearable and there's nothing to balance it out, you don't have, the money's not there, the enjoyment's not there. It's kind of like a pointless, it's kind of like a pointless thing that's not really thought out. You're just like, somehow this thing is gonna work out, but it's not enjoyable in the moment. And even if it works out, will it ever be? So that's just something. I don't know how I got on this topic, really. That's something. I just talk about things and then I lose my train of thought. I lost track. My train is off its track. So, yeah. Yeah, so I won't be back to podcast for a few weeks, but that's totally okay. I'm doing a lot and I'm very, very happy. yeah, it feels like this is the first time in my life that my feet are on solid ground, and that's really good. I want to, upload a video by the new year. I don't know if that will happen because that's such a busy time of year. And I think it's okay to have goals that you might not achieve. When you might not achieve them, there's a lot of stress that is taken off of you. Because it's something I want to do. It's something that would bring joy into my life. But also, there's not that pressure, As people, life is stressful enough without, us, ourselves putting pressure on us. So, I might do that and I might not. I want to put my podcast on different platforms eventually. I think that would help some way to maybe, I don't know, get a bigger audience in a way, get people to see it. Or, if you're looking for a podcast and it's on a podcast site, you might think, wow, that's where it should be. I don't know. So that's kind of one of my goals eventually. And that's probably, it's one of those things that I could have done earlier, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. But someday I'll do that. Yeah. And what to expect going on? I don't know. I am very I'm just very interested in, I guess, improvement, not perfection, but getting things done. And for me, something I think is really important is doing a lot of projects, even if you don't finish them. I really enjoy finishing something, but finishing something isn't always the goal. It's like, if you're an artist maybe, and you have paint, you wouldn't look at that paint and be like, the goal of this paint is to use it all up. You wouldn't look at it like that. Your goal, I feel, is to paint a painting. But sometimes I think we're so, at least myself, so preoccupied with, like, finishing something. If I finish all of this, then I must have learned something, but you're not really focused on learning something. So your mind kind of gets, distracted. Not distracted, but preoccupied with something that doesn't matter. And that's how it was for me a lot of the time. I was like, if I do all of this, if I finish all of this, that must be good. I can't not learn from this. And it's not important. Teaching yourself to create new pathways in your mind. And really, trying to change. That's what change is for a person. you could do this thing and you could do it again and again and again and again, and nothing changes. And then one day you realize, oh, this isn't working. I must be crazy to keep doing this same thing and thinking it's going to change the outcome. And you think about that. And then the next time this comes up, maybe you try something different. You realize, oh, I don't want to be like this forever. I don't want it to be like this. I want it to change and move forward. So you do something different once, but maybe then you go back to doing the same thing over and over again, and that's totally fine. But then you've still learned from that, doing it differently once, because your mind will think of that, and maybe you'll start, doing it differently half of the time, and then 75% of the time. And then you're like, why did I refuse to do it this way so much? It's just because we are people and we get into habits that maybe aren't so good for us. We're comfortable with what we know, and that's totally all right. But a lot of the time it can keep us from, bigger things. Yeah, it's hard to change. It's hard to say I am not happy with where I am. So I think it's very, very good to, slowly. You don't change all at once. You don't learn something all at once. Either you learn things slowly. And with change, I think for me, it's taking those little steps every time. Maybe I do something differently once, and then I start to do it differently more because I realize, oh, it's better than what I've been doing. It's better than, it's better than what I've been doing. But what I've been doing is because I was afraid, A lot of the time, it feels like, it's the comfortable thing. It's the thing that you can rely on, kinda, even if it's more of an addiction. Because, because it's the known. And when you travel outside of the known, it's gonna be scary at first, but sometimes you realize it's better and things start falling into place. And it's a slow journey. It's a slow process, all of this. But, don't put pressure on yourself that isn't needed. And that can be a hard thing to say because, of course, we don't want to put pressure on ourselves. But it happens. And there's things you can do to, relieve that pressure and, try to make it better. Stress will always be there, but learning to manage it really helps so much. Yeah. So, I guess that's what I have to say today in this diary entry. And, So, thank you for listening, and hopefully by the middle of December, I'll be able to do another one. Or maybe I'll do, after December, maybe I'll do them more frequently than weekly. I don't know. Whatever it takes.